Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about the Enneagram Type 1, the perfectionist or the reformer. So the main motivation here for our Enneagram Type 1s is to be a good person, to do the right thing. The fear here is of being corrupt or evil. Now, because of this, our Enneagram Type 1s often become really good people. They live by a strong sense of right and wrong. They have an intense set of ethics, and they often live by a really strong set of ideals. So they fear being corrupt or evil or potentially even defective. The Type 1s are principled. They're focused on doing the right thing, and they typically have a strong sense of right and wrong. Type 1s can be detail-oriented, self-controlled. They may focus on constantly improving themselves or others, and they may have a really strong inner critic. It's important for our Type 1s to see themselves as good, as responsible, as constantly improving. They orient in the world with the burden that the world is imperfect and it is their job to improve it or to constantly be working toward improving it. Because of this, they spend a lot of their time focused on right and wrong, good and bad, perfect or imperfect, and taking on the responsibility to bring all of the things in their sphere into a better place. And this is why I prefer the term reformer for our Type 1s, because perfectionism, I think a lot of Type 1s see as imperfect, right? The very idea that you are supposed to think you're perfect when you know it's an imperfect world is therefore imperfect. I think of it more like our Type 1s are looking for how things can continuously be improved, and their focus of attention is going to land on where things could be a little bit better. Type 1s are principled, they're focused on improving the world around them and doing things the right way. When stressed out, when in need of some self-care, our Type 1s might move down to Type 4. So they might start to experience a little bit of melancholy, a little bit of kind of self-defeat. They might feel like they are uniquely flawed in some way. But that's just a good indicator that they need a little bit of time and attention for themselves. Now, to really find some rest, to bring in intentional peace, and as a symbol that maybe they're feeling relaxed or at ease or safe in some environment, they might start showing up like the high end of Type 7. This is a more positive thinking, a little bit more spontaneous, a little bit more open and available. A lot of Type 1s say that they have a vacation type. So maybe they show up a little bit more like a 7 when they're on vacation. They may be more focused on positive thinking, focused on fun, focused on the next good experience, and that can really benefit our Type 1s to intentionally bring that energy into their life. And I think more the high side of 7. So when I think of the high side of 7, I think about presence and gratitude and positive thinking and possibility, opening yourself up to the beauty that is all around you and the joy that is all around you, not necessarily the future-oriented element of Type 7 that may be more common in the average to unhealthy levels of that type structure. But for our Type 1s, what we want to work on is this limitation that we present to ourselves, which is that you must always be constantly improving and that there's always some way in which you're falling short. I think that if I could give our Type 1s kind of an energy in which I hope that they can release, it would be the constant pressure to be improving at everything all the time. And so really relaxing into the reality that everything will always feel unfinished, and the sooner you can accept that in your life, the sooner you'll be able to kind of move on from projects when they're good enough. A Type 1 once said to me this phrase that I really, really love. It's, instead of perfect, can I choose excellent? Can I make this great without making it flawless? Because there will always be some other way that it could be improved. And so once you get to good enough, you can let it out the door and you can feel complete in what you've done. Now, the other thing that I hope our Type 1s can work on is the anger. Our Type 1s are in the anger triad. So every type in that triad, 8, 9, and 1, have some relationship to anger. Type 1's relationship to anger looks a little bit like shoving it down, right? It's not wanting to express that anger, seeing the anger as a bad emotion and therefore wanting to eliminate it from your life. And that can show up as irritability. If the anger is not tended to, it can make you kind of a little bit irritable all day versus just kind of acknowledging the anger all at one time. The other way that it can come up in is kind of like a pitying of yourself in your role. Like, I'm the only one. I'm the only one doing all of the work. I'm the only one taking full time and attention to do this well. And so if we can deal with the anger and then get underneath it, right? Because the anger is just a symbol for an unmet need. It's information that we need in order to understand what we feel like we're missing. So if we can honor the anger, I often recommend for our type ones to rage journal, which is just kind of get all the anger out on paper, light it on fire if you want to. It doesn't have to like exist in the world after you get it out of your brain, but just take the time to really write it out and honor that it's there. Or break plates, or go somewhere quiet and just scream it out. Whatever you need to do to get that anger moving so that you can honor what's underneath it, which is that unmet need. And when you honor that unmet need, then you can meet the unmet need and tend to it honestly. But if you are someone who's trying to figure out, am I a type 1, or I want to understand my type 1 and my life better, I go much more in detail into the type structure in my podcast, Enneagram Coffee, which can be found on iTunes or Spotify. We have a full breakdown of Enneagram Type 1 as well as a full breakdown of the Enneagram Type 1 subtypes. So go check that out if you want more information on the type structure of the reformer. As always, if you enjoyed today's episode, please let me know by hitting the like button and subscribing to my channel. I am just a little baby YouTuber at this point, and we're working on getting more eyes on this. So if you think there's someone who might benefit from watching this video, go ahead and share it with a friend. Let them know what we're doing over here. And as always, I will see you in the next video.